They dosed him without warning at a CIA retreat. 9 days later, Frank Olson crashed through a hotel window from the 13th floor. The CIA called it suicide. His family believed them for 22 years. They were wrong. Frank Olson was a biological warfare scientist who worked for the U.S. Army. On November 19, 1953, his CIA colleagues spiked his after-dinner drink with LSD. He had no idea. Within hours, he was spiraling into paranoia and terror. The CIA sent him to New York with a handler. On November 28, at 2:30 a.m., Olson went through the closed window of the Hotel Statler. He died on impact. This wasn't a random tragedy. It was the result of MKUltra, the most illegal mind control program ever run by American intelligence. And Frank Olson was just one victim. MKUltra began on April 13, 1953. CIA Director Allen Dulles approved it personally. The goal was simple but terrifying. Find ways to control the human mind. The Cold War was raging. The CIA believed the Soviets and Chinese had cracked mind control. American POWs were confessing to crimes they never committed. Dulles was convinced the communists had a secret weapon. He wanted one too. So he put chemist Sidney Gottlieb in charge. Gottlieb had a club foot and a stutter. He also had zero ethical boundaries. His budget was essentially unlimited. No oversight. No rules. Just results. MKUltra had 149 subprojects. They tested on prisoners, on mental patients, on university students, on ordinary Americans who never knew they were guinea pigs. The experiments happened in 80 institutions. Universities like Stanford and Harvard. Hospitals across the US and Canada. Even prisons in CIA safe houses. The main drug was LSD. But they used morphine, heroin, barbiturates, and amphetamines too. They combined drugs with hypnosis, with electroshock, with sensory deprivation, with sexual abuse and torture. But here's what nobody talks about. Most victims had no idea they were part of an experiment. In 1955, the CIA opened a safe house in San Francisco. It was called Operation Midnight Climax. George Hunter White ran it. He was a federal narcotics agent working for the CIA. His job was to lure men off the street, then dose them with LSD without their knowledge. The safe house was decorated like a brothel. Prostitutes on the CIA payroll brought men inside. They slipped LSD into their drinks. White watched through a two-way mirror. He took notes while the men hallucinated and panicked. Some had psychotic breaks. Some tried to hurt themselves. White just kept watching and drinking martinis. This went on for 8 years. Nobody knows how many victims there were. The CIA never kept proper records. But what happened in San Francisco was nothing compared to Montreal. At McGill University, psychiatrist Donald Ewan Cameron ran experiments funded by MKUltra. Cameron believed he could erase memories and rebuild personalities. He called it psychic driving. Patients came to him for depression or anxiety. He put them in drug-induced comas for weeks. He played recorded messages on repeat for 16 hours a day. He gave them electroshock therapy at 30 times normal voltage. He erased their memories completely. Some forgot who their children were. Some couldn't read or write anymore. Cameron destroyed at least 53 lives. And the CIA paid him $9,000 to do it. What they found next was even more disturbing. In 1973, CIA Director Richard Helms learned Congress was investigating. He ordered Sidney Gottlieb to destroy all MKUltra records. Gottlieb shredded everything. Over 20,000 documents vanished. They burned the evidence of 2 decades of illegal human experiments. Only a few thousand pages survived by accident. They were misfiled in a budget office. The Church Committee discovered them in 1975. What they revealed shocked America. The scope was massive. The cruelty was unthinkable. But the worst part? The CIA had learned almost nothing. Despite 20 years and millions of dollars, they never found reliable mind control. They just tortured people for no reason. Frank Olson's death was finally explained. He had expressed moral doubts about biological weapons. The CIA dosed him to see how he'd react under pressure. When he became unstable, they saw him as a security risk. Evidence suggests his fall was not suicide. It was murder. In 1994, his body was exhumed. The forensics showed blunt force trauma to his head before he went out the window. Someone likely knocked him unconscious and threw him. But here's the part that nobody expected. MKUltra never really ended. It just went underground. The CIA claimed it stopped in 1973. But declassified documents show mind control research continued. Just under different names. Different projects. Different budgets hidden in black ops. The techniques refined in MKUltra are still used. Enhanced interrogation at black sites. Psychological manipulation of detainees. The legacy lives on in places we'll never see. The US government formally apologized in 1995. President Clinton said it was wrong. Victims received settlements. But most will never be identified. The records are gone forever. MKUltra shows what happens when intelligence agencies operate without oversight. When secrecy becomes absolute, abuse becomes inevitable. The CIA violated the Nuremberg Code. The same ethics rules created after Nazi experiments. They did it to Americans on American soil for 20 years. And they almost got away with it completely. Today, we assume this could never happen again. We're probably wrong. Intelligence budgets are larger and more secretive than ever. Black sites still exist. Enhanced interrogation still happens. The technology is more sophisticated now. The methods more refined. But the fundamental question remains the same. Who watches the watchers? If you stay for this story, hit that button below. We investigate what others won't every single week. And one question still haunts researchers. How many other programs like MKUltra are running right now that we'll only learn about in 50 years? Subscribe for a new dark truth every day.